Welcome YouTube. I am your host Brad Claybon. This is Brad's Boredom Busters, your textile art channel. This is a channel where we have fun with fabric. Alright, on today's show we are going to be doing a center fan fold and an ice dye. And then I'm also going to be going over some of those new dyes that Stephanie had sent me. We did that unboxing a little while ago. I have yet to use any of them and I'm not even sure what the colors look like. So I'm going to do a little test to see how these colors look, and then we'll use some of those on this ice dye fan fold. All right, let's get over to the table and we'll check out these dyes and then tie up our shirt. All right, Busters, so these are all the dyes that Stephanie sent me from Belladonna Dies, and you saw me do my unboxing probably. And if you haven't, go check it out. But anyway, so let's go over the colors. These are all new colors to me, so I have no idea what they look like, so that's why I'm doing this little test. What I plan on doing is putting just a little drop of it on the board of each color. I've got some soda ash water here just to kind of activate it, and I'll swirl it around with my finger so we can kind of get a look at what these look like. And that way I know if I want to use them on this ice dye project, or if, you know, and in what order I might want to apply them to the project as well. So let's get into that. All right, before I do this, let's remind everybody of the colors that we have here. So this is Orange Marmalade, Ogre Achiever, Wet Sand, Misty Rose, Thistle Blossom, Professor Plum, and Coffee Buzz. All right, let's take a look at these. Alright, so let's apply some moisture. These look a little dark. Let's try something here. Okay, that's interesting. So I don't know that this is a real true representation, but it gives me a little bit of an idea what to expect with these colors. I have a feeling that Wet Sand and Misty Rose is not reacting exactly the way it would if it's mixed up in the bottle. But it still gives me a little bit of an idea of what I can expect. Okay, well, I'll clean this mess up and then we'll get on with folding our shirt. Alright, Busters, so I went over those new dyes that Stephanie sent. Picked out a few that we're going to use on this ice dye project. So now let's get into folding it. So it's going to be a fan fold, but I'm going to do like a center fan fold and make it like a sunburst. So I'll show you how to fold that up and get it tied off. All right, let's get into it. Alright Buster, so at this point in the project we just need to decide where we want the center of our fan fold, and then we have to create a radius. Now there's two ways of doing that. You can either put your washable marker on the end of a string and use that to create the radius, or you can just take a protractor, put that down, and then draw around that. That's probably what I'm going to do. And I think actually right where I dropped it's not bad. The other way you can kind of do it if you want this kind of in the center is just bring that up, kind of push that on down so you can see where you have a center. That might be a little lower on your chest. You might come up just a little bit from that mark, closer to under the armpit, and then do it right there. All right, and so there's our half circle. We'll fold on that and then tie it up, and then we'll get it out for the ice dye. Now the other way you can fold this up, because I've got it doubled up where the front and back will be symmetrical, they'll look identical to each other as long as we get good penetration. You could just fold it up so you're doing your fan fold just on the front, and then the back would be way out here. You could possibly tie another pattern on that and ice dye something different there as well. All right, so we've got that. Straighten out your pleats, and then I'm going to just rubber band this up. And the further out you get, the fatter your pleats tend to get. That's not unusual. Just try to keep them as organized as you can so you have a nice pattern when the ice melts and the dye flows down your trough. The trough I use I got from Home Depot. A lot of people buy rain gutter. You have to buy like a 10-foot piece and then cut it up. I found in the same area of the store, it's an attachment that goes to the downspout, and it helps guide your rainwater further away from your foundation, and it's plenty long enough for these kind of projects, and that way you're not purchasing more than you need and cutting it up and just having it sitting around. Unless you plan on doing multiple ice dyes at one time, then that might be a way to go, but for me, I just usually do one at a time, so this individual extension trough seemed like the ideal thing for myself. That's the other thing too, is you don't want your rubber bands too tight to pinch this too much, because you do want the dye and the liquid to run down these channels. So yeah, just make sure you're not getting it too tight. You know, it gets a little fat out here toward the back end. Okay, so there is our basically a sunburst fan fold because it's on the chest. When it gets done, it does give you that sunburst look. All right, that's ready to be dyed. We'll take that out to the garage and get it in the trough and get some dye on it and then ice it up. Meet you out in the garage. All right, Busters, here we are ready to do our center fan fold ice dye incline big title shirt. Fit that on a postcard. All right, so I saw this once in someone else's video and I thought it was a real clever idea for these incline ice dyes to take a paper clip, a large one, unfold it, then you can hook it under your rubber band or string, and then I can hook it here on the end of my channel, and that'll keep it from sliding down once we start to incline it. All right, so that's all set. So now let's get some dye on it. All right, so before I start applying the dye, let's go over the colors I plan on using. I'm going to be applying deep yellow, thistle blossom, misty rose, Chinese red, Professor Plum, and coffee buzz. And I'll probably be doing, maybe bands that are about 2 to 3 fingers wide. I want to kind of get midway with all these colors and then start repeating them. All right, so let's start applying the dye, and then after the dye goes on, we'll apply a little soda ash, and then we'll stick it in the, then we'll stick some ice in here. I made an ice dam at the end of my trough out of some aluminum foil, and then it'll go in the tub at an incline. All right, let's get going. Alright, that's all the dye applied. Now I'll grab the ice and we'll get that on. Before I do the ice, I gotta put on some soda ash. All right, now I'll grab the ice and we'll get that on. Okay, let's get the ice on this guy. Alright, that's about all the ice I can get on there. Yeah, the only problem with these troughs, especially if it's a thicker fold like this one is somewhat, you can't really get a lot of ice in there, so it usually doesn't dissolve all the dye. So I usually end up doing 2 applications of ice. So as soon as this one melts, if it melts out before I go to bed, I'll put more ice on it. If not, I'll do it in the morning. Alright, let's get it in the tub. There we are, we're in the tub for our incline. Alright, so this will get processed. Like I say, it may get another application of ice if it needs it. When it's all done processing for 24 hours after the ice melts, then I will take it to the rinse out. We'll start with cold water, work our way into hot water. That gets rid of the soda ash and the loose dye. Then it'll go into the laundry. We'll wash it on a hot to cold cycle, and I'll wash it with detergent and the Curelon detergent, and that you can get from Dharma. And then it'll go into the dryer, be dried out, and we'll do a reveal after that. So we'll see you at the reveal. All right, take care. All right, Busters, so here's the Incline ice dye using some of the colors that Stephanie had gifted me. Yeah, the orange marmalade center, I love that, kind of that brightness right there. It's interesting, the coffee buzz kind of on the outside and a few spots actually in this area too. Kind of turns a little bit olive green. It's kind of cool. And I love the purples and then how the reds, turn, kind of radiate out into a pink kind of look. So yeah, I think this one's a real winner. I like it. Yeah. Incline ice dyes are a lot of fun to do because they're really not difficult to fold up, and they're just a nice surprise when you get done with it. If you use the right color combinations, you just have a spectacular shirt when you're done. I like these center fan folds for the Incline. They just give this really beautiful sunburst effect, but the side ones are interesting too. And try some interesting different folds and try an Incline ice dye on that. You might get some really radical pattern that you have never seen before, and you might be the first one to do it. Hey, all right, I hope you like this one. I hope you learned something new. Yeah, give this one a try. Hey, give me a comment and tell me what you think about it. Okay, let's head over to the desk and we'll sign off. We'll see you there. All right, Busters, that project came out really cool. Hey, I hope you learned something new on this project. Hey, if you really like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. And don't forget to ring that notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming projects. And hey, if you really want to help out my channel, go to my Buy Me a Coffee page and buy me a coffee. That really helps me out. Hey, all right, thanks for watching. Love you all, folks. Peace out, baby, and go bust out some art.